What if the thing you are taught to fear, your sex, your pleasure, your desire, is actually the doorway back to yourself? Welcome to Midlife Butterfly, for the high-achieving woman in midlife who has spent years showing up for everyone except herself. This podcast is where emotional exhaustion meets nervous system healing and where people-pleasing gives way to self-remembrance. I am Kena Siu, Identity and Embodiment Guide, because I know you are doing the inner work. It's time to settle that wisdom from your mind into your body so you can feel alive again. In this episode, you will discover why living in your masculine was survival and what is quietly been costing you. How reconnecting to your own cycle guides you back into your body. And why pleasure is proof you are home in your body and how to find it in the most ordinary moments. I gotta say, most of my life, I lived in my masculine. In the doing, in the controlling, the protecting, all of the coping mechanisms that I actually built to survive. And seriously, for a woman, this is so fucking tiring. And I'm probably not the only one. Are you feeling it too? Right? We don't stop. We just keep following what society shows us in the path to succeed. And that path comes with a freaking checklist. Get the degree, get the job, the partner, have kids, buy the house, and somehow, at the same time, you need to keep growing professionally the whole time. It's too many pieces, it's too many things, and the problem is that we have never questioned that. Have you ever questioned the checklist that was handed to you? Because I didn't until the last years, and I didn't choose it. And as I grew and evolved, and as my life evolved with me, I learned more about who I am and what I actually want. And that checklist, I started to freaking ignore it. I mean, I've been married twice and divorced twice. And through both of those endings, the cool part is that I learned more about myself than actually a checklist ever taught me. Because those supposed to be the goals to succeed, right? At one point, I realized that I didn't want to have children anymore. And I felt so grateful that my parents never pressured me, because I know how heavy that pressure is for so many women trying to stay loyal to their family's expectations. And having a child isn't something that you try and then, walk away from. It's for life. And that's exactly why the pressure to want it is so loaded. And probably you are actually following other loyalties to your family. Just, take a moment to reflect about this. And then with that upbringing, what it happens to me is during those years, I was rescuing others. I was searching for validation for my own worthiness. And as a result, the people-pleasing, this is a big one, because this is how we try to fit in, to feel loved, to feel like we belong. What I discovered is that the more inner work I did, the more I understood that all of these coping mechanisms are survival mode. And survival mode is self-abandonment. You might be asking, but how come? Because by trying to survive, we are not going inward. We are going outward, trying to receive the love and the acceptance that we were never taught to give ourselves. And this is where it shifted for me, because reconnecting with my feminine side, meaning in learning and understanding how we as women flow differently. You know, our cycle moves across a month. And for men, it's only within 24 hours. So once I understood that near my period, my body asks for more peace, for softer movement, for going inward. And then while in ovulation is when the ideas come and I have the energy to act on them and I have more vitality, I started living guided by my own rhythm instead of fighting it. And everything shifted. Because if you think about it, if you have a pause to notice your menstruation, is really where you plant the seed, and the ovulation period is when you bring it to light. Reconnecting to your feminine side also means reconnecting to nature. At least that's what happened to me. We are feminine. Mother Earth, the grandmother, in its essence, it's feminine. We can see it in her cycles, in her seasons. And if you watch her, you can see her abundance, vastness is always changing. Winter, spring, summer, autumn. It's always dying and being reborn in constant flow. Us as humans, we resist to change, but nature never does. And once you embody that with the changes of the seasons, you can start living from pleasure, no matter what season you're in. And yes, it is possible to live from pleasure. I'm not saying it because I am living it right now. Again, the program, that conditioning is to live from the masculine, means living top down, from head to body. But honoring our cycle means living bottom up, from the body to the head. And that's where intuition lives. Because the more connected we are to the body, the more that your intuition expands. And only after that do we let the mind structure it into words, not before. Because the ideas, they come as an impulse. They are basically downloads. And the more you get to open your channel to source, to the divine, however you name it, the more guidance moves through you. And that's exactly why we've been called witches. But oh my God, what a privilege to be a woman. Because we have that intuition within us. And that's your superpower. We gotta really get more attentive and be more aware of our thoughts. Because again, the conditioning, the programming is so strong that you gotta remember that you are the sky, and that whatever thoughts, beliefs, programs are just clouds passing through. The less you define yourself by them, the more you can let yourself be guided by the divine, by your intuition. And when you follow that guidance alongside your own cycle's guidance, oh my God, that's full nourishment. That's full nourishment. You know you're not alone. You know you are guided, and you know you are supported by the divine and by earth itself. I know that my disconnection with my feminine side, besides all these programs, it was also the fact that pleasure and sex at home was a taboo. And still is in a way, and I know it is in many other homes. And for many years, my definition to pleasure was basically just related to sex. And therefore, it wasn't safe. And underneath that, I believe that I didn't deserve it. Specifically, sexual pressure. And there's another story behind it that at this moment I'm not ready to share. But what I can say is that it's important to question the words that we use, because the vocabulary matters. Again, for me, pleasure was only related to sex. And once I understand that, oh, no, it's much more than that. And of course, that definition also, it depends of every person. Yeah, the dictionary might have a definition of it. But the real meaning, you give it to it. Every woman, every man has a different definition of what pleasure is, because it's shaped by upbringing, by wounds, by stories, experiences, right? And this pleasure that I'm talking about, that I'm living under, that I completely shifted, one of the things that it also blocked is this idea that we've been told that we cannot have it all. But if you think about it, according to whom? Who said that? Because we came here for a human experience, right? You are the divine existence itself having an experience through you, through your body temple. So, what do you actually want? What do you desire? The issue is that those questions bring up shame and guilt because of that fucking conditioning, because somewhere someone said and we learned that we don't deserve it. But again, if we are extensions of Source, and Source is infinite, you can actually have it all. And I am here for it, and I hope you are here for it too. And pleasure, it's there too. You think that the divine doesn't want to really experience pleasure through you? Because pleasure is as simple as taking a deep breath in. as feeling the breeze on your face, feeling the sand in your feet. Well, those are the things that bring me pleasure. But in that case, what is pleasure for you? How can you sense it? How can you feel it? Is it a piece of dark chocolate? When you get the sight of someone that makes your body feel joy and excitement? Because that's the thing. Pleasure itself lives in feeling and sensations in the body, which means that to move from that masculine energy, and I'm not saying that masculine energy is negative, of course not. It's about finding that balance, because all human beings, we have these two energies. The thing is, as women, when we are more inclined to this energy, we basically self-abandon ourselves. And in order to bring it back, you need your body. You cannot leave your body out of this equation. If you want to come from self-abandonment into pleasure, you gotta feel it. Because if you don't feel it, nothing happens. Nothing happens. And right now, before we close, please take one deep breath in with me. And let it go through the mouth, slow and long. And notice what relaxes. That's it. That's the whole practice for today. That's pleasure right there, right now, in a deep breath. And as a weekly Please Yourself challenge, yes, make a list of 5 things that brings you pleasure, that gives you pleasure. At least 5. You can continue your list if you want to. Okay? Pleasure was never the reward waiting at the end of your checklist. It has always been the way home, and it's been waiting for you to finally feel it. In this episode, you learned why living in your masculine was survival and what is quietly been costing you. How reconnecting to your own cycle guides you back into your body. And why pleasure is proof you are home in your body, and how to find it in the most ordinary moments. If what you just heard lit something up in you, I want to invite you deeper. I created Leading from Pleasure. 5 weeks, 5 women leaders where love, pleasure, and life force becomes the root of how you lead. There's a free workshop happening on August 5th, so you can feel it into your body before you decide anything else. The link is in the show notes, and I'll be waiting you there with a lot of pleasure. Much love to you, and take care.